Hello and welcome to the Animal Intuitive Show, FurryFursdays. I'm Angelo Webb, the Animal Intuitive, and tonight I hope that we have some callers, but if we don't, we are going to be talking about an update for one of the other cases I've been talking about previously. So sit tight and get comfortable.
All you doggies, won't you walk with me? I'm the puppet dog.
All right, so I just want to make sure everyone knows that if you are in the chat, you can certainly let me know if you want me to talk with one of your pets. So if you are here and you would like me to talk with one of your pets, I was saying before, please feel free to let me know right in the chat, and we can do that. You can point the camera right at your pet. If your pet is somehow not available, we can still talk with your pet. So I can send you a link for that, but just let me know in the chat if you are interested in having me talk with your pet. In the meantime, I wanted to do an update on Mr. Kitty, who actually apparently doesn't want to be called Mr. Kitty, and I keep calling him that, but Mr. Kitty is a cat who has been living at my mother's house. He's been coming in and out, and I did a show about him. Oh, hi. Hello, welcome. He wants to have some kind of an indoor life, and I forget, I think that's Darlene that just came in. I always see DB and then I get confused, but I think it's Darlene. So thank you so much for being here. Mr. Kitty wanted to be somehow having affection, and there's some problems with that because he's rather temperamental. He doesn't want anyone to touch him. So he does, but when you try to touch him, the claw comes out and he swipes at you. So, and he hisses. So it's a bit of a problem, bit of a conundrum. So there's a new sort of update to this situation, and that is that he has sort of a nemesis now, a black cat that has started to invade his territory, which is now an issue for my mother's cat, Tigger, who has been there for, many years, most of his life. And Tigger is intimidated by both of these cats, and Mr., we'll call him, is intimidated by the black cat. So I want to talk about in this episode, what's going on, just share what these animals are talking about, and, see if there's anything we can get to help the situation, especially with Mr. Kitty, because there may be someone out there who is interested, I don't know, if you're daring, in taking in Mr. Kitty, Mr. I potentially one day might, but right now it is not going to be a thing. I can't right now. So this is Mr. Isn't he cute? He's adorable. So as an animal communicator, my job is to, help, if an animal is in a situation like this, help to sort of come to some sort of understanding of what they want, maybe what they're willing to compromise with, what we can help them to do to change the situation. That's always my goal, is to promote change, or to somehow facilitate change, positive change. Isn't he? He's adorable, right? He's the cutest little thing. He has a little bit of an eye issue. I suspect he has some something else going on, and I know that he needs to go to the vet, but we haven't tried to trap him yet because it's a long story. I'm not going to get into that, but he's untrappable right now. So there's really nowhere to take him. Partly because he's so he's so reactive that it would be difficult to treat him. But if there's someone out there who would like an indoor-outdoor cat, or like a barn cat situation, something like that, or a project, Mr. would be wonderful. So, and he is sweet, and he wants affection. So I'm also going to show you Mister's new, oh, there he is, he's eating. A little video of Mister. Bring him up there so you could see maybe a little bit better. Okay, so he comes into my mother's breezeway. This is like the area that attaches to her garage. It's sort of an outdoor, indoor sort of area. So isn't he cute? There's also a possum that comes in. That's another issue. It's upstate New York, so there's some, you know, it's a little different than where I am right now. So now we have the nemesis. Oops. That's not, those aren't nemesis, clearly. They're adorable. I mean, this guy's cute too, but where is he? There he is. Okay. Oops. Okay, so this is the black kitty. He came about a couple months ago and started his shenanigans. So he wants to sort of take over, essentially. And I was there when this black cat went after Mister. It was quite awful. He literally attacked him, chased him out the garage, around the house, around the back of the house, and they went up into a neighbor's yard and a hill, and like literally the whole, like a cartoon kind of, but not funny, like rolling cats, like fur flying, you know, just terrible screeching. And then Mr. Kitty had a little bit of sore leg. So Mister is now sort of trying to take over the garage because in this breezeway area, because he doesn't want to have to deal with this guy, and he's trying to get his territory back. And hello, Aman. Ooh, I'm not going to say this right. Emma Luell, Love Day. Hello. Thank you for being here. Just an update, if you're coming in now, I am able and willing to speak with your pets live on the Furry Thursdays that we're doing tonight. We just need to have you, if you can, point your phone at them, and I have a link that I can send you. Just let me know in the chat if you want to do that. I'm just talking about this kitty situation right now. Oh, Emma. Okay. Hello. That was one of my beloved kitty's names, Emma. And I also just want to mention, I lost my train of thought going back and forth there. All right, well, I'll get it back. Just let me know in the chat if you want me to talk to your, yes, they are both, neither one of them have been neutered. And then we have we have Tigger, who lives in my mother's house, who has been neutered, and he's a little more, you know, genteel. He's been living indoors for quite some time. But because he was adopted, so he really wanted to be out sometimes. So, you know, this is just a different environment. This isn't like a city environment. So some of really just him, of her pets, goes out by himself. But he always, you know, comes back. But a couple days ago, he didn't come back. So that was a little scary. And also, if you get anything out of this show, or you would like to help out animals and their people, since I do this show for free, talking to people's pets, and I'm also available to talk to shelter animals at no cost. You know, on Furry Thursdays, I will also talk to shelter animals with permission of an administrator on non-Furry Thursdays as longer sessions. But please do like, subscribe. Subscribe will help you be notified of the Furry Thursday nights and other things I'm doing, like an interview I have Friday with a really interesting individual that's coming up. So check that out. Saturday, I'm sorry. So I am going to tune in live and talk with these animals and just kind of get a sense of what we can come up with, if there's anything that can be done, and see where they're coming from. At least understand what they're feeling. Maybe just give you some insight into what stray cats deal with, what they feel like. That's part of what animal communication is just understanding others, other beings, giving them an opportunity to speak. So this guy feels very much as though he could be a house cat. By the way, my mother did put this on like a next door app, and somebody told her that this cat and Mr., I believe they've seen around. And by the way, this cat, I believe she said he tried to come into her house too. I'm forgetting, but oh, so you don't, yeah. It's part of animal communication is you can ask them if they would like to talk about their histories. Sometimes they do. Sometimes it's not so pleasant. So that can be a reason that sometimes they don't. But if that's something that you're interested in me doing tonight, I'm not sure if that's what you were saying, Emma, feel free to let me know there in the chat and I can shoot you the link. So Black Cat feels that he could be an indoor cat. He desires to be an indoor cat. He desires to have all the kind of comforts of home. And he wants love, he wants affection, which is, you know, it's interesting because he might not seem like that to somebody who doesn't do this, because he comes across as rather aggressive, but that is more him trying to take over this whole situation and have it for himself. So I feel that this cat did have indoor time at some point. He was some kind of person's pet. I don't feel that he was treated particularly well. It feels like he was rejected and sent outside. So there's a little bit of a fear of, there's a little bit of a trust thing with him, but I really get that he could overcome that. But there's going to be definitely some issues with other animals. However, he feels that he could overcome that too, is what I'm picking up. I feel like females would be better for him, which is often the case if you have a male that's kind of like this. Males in general sometimes are just better with females. And vice versa can be the case when you're introducing new animals. Opposite gender can be better. I'm asking him to please leave Mr. alone and telling him that Mr. was there. He does comment that he and Mr. have known each other before, so I guess that's true, that somebody mentioned that they had seen them around, had these cats at their property. I guess they're making their rounds around the neighborhood and getting fed and there we go. It's a new trick I learned. So he does not feel that he couldn't be with other animals. It's just, you know, it's going to be risky because you don't know how this is going to go initially, especially. I think it would take some real work to have that environment work out. I just feel like he's going to come in and try to take over. So I did forget to bring up a Tigger picture, but I want to bring up, you know, Tigger's my mother's cat, just to keep this all straight. There's Mr. This was the one that was there first. I guess we can think of this like upstate New York cat gang leaders. They have, like, they want to take over. And they're a gang of one. Mr. and Black Cat. My mother named Mr. Kitty because he's been coming around like a year. So that's why he has a name. She didn't really want to name Black Cat. She really didn't want him coming around anymore, so she was trying not to get, they're both male and not neutered. So that's the problem. Oh, your cat, Emma, is both male and neutered. Yeah. Okay. So these two are, I'm scared about Mister because I feel like he could really get hurt by this cat. I'm very concerned about him. I've developed sort of a connection with Mister. I've spent some time trying to, the most time I can up there, because I've been up there helping my mother with some things, and I haven't been able to spend much time with him, but the time I have, and I have fed him and things like that, so I've gotten a little attached to him. Are you talking about, Darlene, are you talking about Mr. Kitty or Black Cat? Who wants to trust and come in? I will tell you, I feel like Mr. is more sensitive. He's more wants to, I think he would be more likely to just settle in and be loved. Yeah, they do both have that look in their eyes. There's both of them want it. I just get the feeling that Mr. Kitty's just more, I don't know, like more sensitive, more, yeah, Mr. at first. He's more likely to, I don't know, acquiesce to the situation. But he's got to learn to trust. So when I've tried to talk to him about being petted, he tries. It's interesting because I've reached out my hand to him with a glove. Because he really will do damage, like he'll scratch. So I've talked to him and then tried to put on a thick glove and talk to him about, oh, I know, Janessa, aren't they? Thank you so much for stopping in. Don't worry, focus on the driving. We don't want you to get in an accident. Aren't they cute? So yeah, I've tried to do some techniques, just feeling it out for what would help him to feel better about letting somebody just touch him and hold him. Because then, then there's just more of obviously a chance of him. He's probably not going to stay with my mother. She doesn't really want to take on any more pets at this point, but he might come with me, and then, or he might be more, obviously more adoptable. So we're working on this, and maybe Jackson Galaxy could help out, putting out an appeal. I mentioned that to my mother, but I don't think she's reached out to his show. He's wonderful, by the way. Jackson Galaxy, good, I'm glad you can make the connection while you're driving. He helped me with my cat, Wolfie, a long time ago. I was moving, and I had to drive a few hours to where I was moving to, and Wolfie would absolutely hyperventilate, to the point of like almost passing out in the car. So this was about 15 years ago. It's a long time ago, and maybe more actually. And Jackson Galaxy didn't have a show at that point. He made these like just the spirit oils that he makes, and I had known of him through an animal communicator that I knew was a teacher that had kind of been around for a while. So I contacted him for help, and he absolutely was wonderful. I really have to give him credit. I spoke to him directly on the phone, and he stayed on the phone with me for like, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour, just coaching me through how to get Wolfie adjusted to the car and using his different sprays and things. And it 100% worked. He got past all of that, and he was fine going up to where I moved to. He was wonderful. So I really have to give Jackson Galaxy credit for that. So check out his show if you haven't yet. He's a cat. He's somebody who helps cats with behavioral issues, and he really tries to keep cats in their homes. Yeah, he has a wonderful way with kitties. He's great. Um, so Tigger did not come home the other night, my mother's cat, because he got scared of all this activity, of the intimidation of Mr. and then the black cat and then this possum. So he was hiding, I feel. What I was seeing was him next door to my mother's house, hiding in a neighbor's area, like under something. It looked like under a wood stash or something, like some kind of overhang, something like that. And, just as I do with missing animals, I talked to him about, what he was afraid of, and let him know that my mother was waiting for him and that he could safely cross right now. Like, she was right there. She was going to be at the door. She's waiting for him. And I also felt like the danger had sort of dissipated. It was daytime, and I felt like the intimidation was gone with Mr. and Black Kitty at that moment. I wasn't feeling as much. And I didn't feel Mr. was as much of the threat. I felt more like it had been Black Cat. So thank goodness, he came home very, like, almost during that conversation I had with him. He got up the courage to make his little cat walk over to my mother's and came inside. So thank God that happened. So maybe you could put out something with some feel away on it near the food dish on, or your gloves. That would put him more at ease. I suggested the feel away to my mother. She, I think, was possibly going to try that. I know that she didn't have luck with that with another situation, but I think it just depends on the animal and the space, and so she might have a different outcome with it. I'm sure that that's worked for some people. It didn't for her, but I know that with this other cat situation, but I'm sure people have had luck with it, so it wouldn't be on the market this long, I wouldn't think. So I have talked to her about essential oils. It's a little bit difficult for her, I have to say, because she's had a few klutzy accidents, and so it's hard for her to do all this stuff. So that's been kind of the problem, and I'm not close, so I can't really do that unless I'm up there, and I can't get up there that frequently. So that's kind of the problem with the consistency with those types of things. The feel away is less, like essential oils, you need to diffuse it and do it. You need to pour the oils in the water and have it going every day and all day. So, but yeah, feel away would be easier as far as plugging it in if there's a plug out there. But thank you for that suggestion. So, Mr. Kitty, or Mr., he didn't like that name because it, I guess it felt kind of emasculating to him. He didn't like that. So I'm trying not to call him that. Mr. He says that he was in a home. He was a kitten, and in that situation, I feel like he was taken care of, like, sort of an indoor-outdoor, and then he just didn't, he was sowing his oats and didn't go back. It doesn't feel like he was mistreated. I don't feel like he was particularly, attached to anybody in that home, because I feel like it was a litter of kittens, and that he wasn't especially bonded with anybody. Leaves from a catnip plant. Oh. That's an idea too. Maybe we could put some catnip. That's another thought. Thank you. Thank you guys for your suggestions. I will mention some of these to my mother that I haven't already. Like that catnip thing I haven't mentioned, I don't think. So maybe that's something she could do that's easy. She could leave out or something. And then, you know, talking to Mr. or Tigger, which I wish I had his picture up, but I don't. I forgot to put it up here. But Tigger is the tiger cat. He's gray, you know, kind of like that black, stripy, gray looking cat. It's really hard for him because Mr. came along and kind of took over. He, it was really difficult for him. He was skirting by Mr. and like trying to get around him for quite a while. And then he kind of wasn't going out, and then he wanted to go out again. So it's been difficult, and I feel like he's sad, literally sad, that these cats have been able to come in and just sort of take over his home. And I feel for him. That's really difficult. Yeah, sometimes cats, they do. They do just sometimes get lost and can't find their way home. You know, there is kind of like a myth out there that all cats can track their way back, but that doesn't always happen. And I talk about with missing pets that there's a lot of different reasons that they can go missing. You know, sometimes it's absolutely that they just get lost, they get turned around. They might chase after something, and this happens to dogs too. They might chase after something and have no intention of leaving home, and then they can't figure out how to get back. Sometimes it's a choice. Sometimes they're sick and they sort of want to just go off and die on their own. Not as frequent like with your average house animal that's like, you know, your pet. It's a less likely thing, and a lot less likely with dogs for something like that to happen. It's more of a cat thing. But that does happen. And, you know, I think, you know, there are times too when they just are not happy. I've had that happen. There could be a situation in a home that they're just not thrilled with, and they take off, and it's just they want to go off into a different time in their life and go perhaps be with a different family, have a different situation. Could be they're upset about, you know, a new addition to the home. Could be a child, could be another animal, could be a person, could be a lot of different things. Unfortunately, it can be very sad for people when those types of things happen. So sometimes we get them back and sometimes we don't. And I always let everyone know that I sometimes can and sometimes can't. I have success sometimes and sometimes I don't. I can often tell people the general like direction or you know, generally what happened, what the feeling is, why it happened, that type of thing. But I cannot always guarantee that they're going to find them or that the animal's going to return. There are some that are stolen too, which is just awful. So sometimes that just provides resolution to be able to connect with the animal and find out like what's happened here, what went on. So back to these guys, and you know, I feel like there's potential. So I hope that, you know, somehow we can work with them. I'll be back up at my mother's and hopefully we can do something and try to work with these guys and try to get this straightened out. And I'm asking the black cat to please back off. He says, "Why should I?" My mother's house is a pretty good deal. She puts out food, she puts out water, the breezeway's cool in the summer, and in the winter she puts out like a heated water. She puts out like, she has a garage, so she puts out like covered little houses for them. She has, you know, just, it's a whole, like, why wouldn't you go there if you were a homeless cat? It's the perfect place. So he's like, why should I give up, essentially? Why, you know, he's kind of, it's, you know, cat logic. It's not like, oh, okay, I'll just, back off. It's kind of like, oh, why should I do that? Why doesn't Mr. back off? Be nice if they could get along. Really difficult with these guys, with non-neutered cats. So I don't know how much success I'm going to have with changing this situation. We'll see what happens. 2 separate dishes in 2 separate areas for a little bit. Yeah. I think I think she might have put a separate dish in the breezeway. I'll mention that to her. I get a little concerned about her doing that right now because she's a little bit impaired in her I mean, she can walk and everything, but she hurt her arm and a couple times, so I get a little concerned about her going in and out of the breezeway area. I think the best way to do that would be if there was food like in the breezeway and then in the garage, and but that is a little bit risky for her, I think, to keep doing that. So you factor in all these different things, and it gets kind of tricky. Also, I wish that a vet would potentially tell us that they were willing to sedate, which is maybe the only way to do it, Mr. in order to give him a veterinary checkup and see what he's carrying, and if he can even be in another home with animals, what situation's going on there, because he's been outside, both of them, for a long time. So far we haven't gotten that feedback that they're willing to do that, so that's a bit of a struggle. I haven't gotten the best. My mother actually is an SPCA volunteer for many, many years, but it just gets difficult with trapping, and then what are you going to do if the vets aren't able to do anything at that point? So they're not going to be adoptable. So it gets so complicated. It's so sad. And again, anyone in the chat who wants me to talk with their pets in case they're coming in late, or anybody who's just watching, not necessarily that they're in the chat, just let me know there if you do, and I can send you a link, and you can just point your camera at your pet. And if for some reason you don't want to do that, you can tell me their name and give me their age and what they are, what kind of animal, and I can do it that way too. I prefer to have you maybe show them, but if for some reason you can't do that, that's okay. Yeah, the vets are hesitant to see him, from what my mother has found out. Not that she's talked to every vet, but she knows one in particular who's been great with the community that she's in of rescue, and would be probably the most likely to do something like that. But they've even kind of backed off from stuff like that because I don't know the whole details about it, and I don't want to speak for them, but for some reason it's been difficult to get a vet to, first of all, cover the cost of it, just do it at any kind of pro bono type of situation. Not that it necessarily has to be that, but in this situation, and then on top of that, to be willing to handle them when they're difficult to handle. That's part of the issue, is the handling of these little guys who are a little bit monstrous. No. It's sad, but we love them and we want to do what we can. We just haven't figured it out yet. And then begs the question, well, we don't want these males running around impregnating females that are also, that might be out and are not spayed. We definitely don't want that. But sometimes there's nothing you can do, and it's sad. You don't want to say that, but sometimes there isn't. And the best thing you can do, the only thing you can do, is just help as much as you can, like my mother's doing, and just feed them. But we would like to figure something out, because she won't be there forever. So And I feel like this, I don't know, I feel like Black Cat is going to be better off, but I feel like Mister needs some help, and he's going to need a little bit more care sooner, and I don't know, I feel like a little bit concerned about that. Whereas Black Cat, I feel like he's just a little younger, a little bit more solid constitution. Mr. Kitty's got a little eye thing too, like a he's sweet. So any questions about any of this stuff or anything to do with animal communication, or any comments? I appreciate the chat and the suggestions too. I really do. So I do want to remind people I am here every Thursday, which we call Fursday, and let people know that, sometimes people want to just kind of like have a couple questions answered, or maybe they just want to have your animal, tell me a little bit about them, like that, confirm for me a few things. That can happen with people just, or maybe getting a new animal too, where they want to do that. And that's what this show is here for, so you might want to just pass it along to other people and let them know that I'm here. I like to have people put their phone camera on the cat just to show, or dog or horse or whatever, any animal, if you can. If you're thinking about doing the show and for some reason you can't do that, it would be great if you could contact me ahead of time and just send me a picture of your animal at my email, and with an E, at Intuitive Touch, animalcare.com. All my information's in the in my description. Oh, my mother is here. She says, I feed Blackie. Oh, we call him Blackie. Okay, in the garage, and Mr. K in the breezeway. Okay, so it has worked out pretty well. Okay, so you started, I must have misunderstood. So you started separating them more. Okay. So I've told people I'm concerned about you doing that. So you're getting caught. I thought I started at, oh, she thought the show started at 7:30. I wonder if I said that somewhere. I might have. But that's okay. So good. So yeah, somebody was mentioning that you going out and putting the food in different places. So that's helping. That's good to know. Although I'm concerned about you going out and back and forth, but okay. So is there any questions that you have, Mom, for them, or anything else that you want to mention? I've just been telling people about their personalities and the struggle of having a vet take care of them. Someone mentioned the feel away. That they were saying maybe that would help. So, and is Tigger going, is the other cat who was afraid of them, is he coming in and out now? Or is he now afraid since that day he stayed out all night? She might be having trouble typing, actually. So Emma, I just was wondering, are your cats, did they come together since they get along and they're neutered and they're male? Or were they at separate times? If you're still here, I don't know. Yay, Mom. She's probably having trouble typing. She was texting me before this information. I didn't see it. So these are some of the things that we can do, is, just try to understand where they're coming from. We are finding out that in this situation, we're not getting a lot of sympathy from Blackie, but I think part of it is it's summer, and I feel like he's being better about it because he's kind kind of doesn't want to be inside as much. I'm a little worried about how he's going to get in the winter. But I also feel like Blackie has more resources. I think he's doing more of going in people's homes. He's he's funny, like he's pushy, and I think he's doing more of that kind of thing. So he's got other things he can do. So okay, so I feed him first. And then after he is through, I can't see that. After he is through, I feed both of them. And while they're eating, he runs out behind them. Oh, Tigger runs out behind them. Jeez. So, okay, so she distracts them, and then Tigger gets out. So it's a lot of accommodating. You can probably see how I got to be what I am from this conversation with my mother. Okay. All right, well, for now that's working out. Blackie hasn't been coming in the afternoon. He is right at the door in the morning. Yeah, so he's out in the town. He's doing his thing right now. Yeah, he's busy. So that gives Mr. Kitty a break. I don't know if you can tell, I don't want to overstress you, but can you tell us about the situation with, why can't, again, Mr. get, if he was to maybe, like, get trapped, you said that there's a whole weird thing where, like, they have to trap him and then, they have to get him that day or something. It just gets complicated. And then the vets don't want to deal with a cat that's a little wild, right? So there's like these little hurdles that come up, unfortunately. Well, Mr. K, I will tell you, is interested in living with me. And I feel bad that right now we can't take him in. It's a little too difficult with our living situation. And the animals that we have right now, I don't feel in my gut that it would be the right time. I think that it could happen, but not right now. And I want to make sure that it's all going to work out okay. So, because I don't want my animals to be negatively affected. Oh, hi Emma. So yeah, I can talk to both of your cats. Are you, do you want to show them? Like, do you want to put your camera on them? Are you able to do that? I'll send you the link here. Just let me know if that's a problem. I know, like, Mr. K, he works his way into your heart, Mr. K, right? He has that effect on people, I think. He's so cute. I mean, Blackie's cute too, but I think you just feel like Mr. K has that real, like, he's sweet and he wants to be loved and he wants to become a house pet, and this hasn't worked out. Darlene, are you close to upstate New York? Would you like to come get Mr. K? So I don't know, Emma, if you saw the link. I'll just wait and see if you pop in. That might be what you're doing. So sometimes we just have to work around them, I guess. That's what she's doing with Tigger. Is just trying to make it work out okay as best she can. You know, you get into the danger zone of, like, is there going to be a fight or something? Then it gets a little bit scary. Whereas upstate New York, upstate New York, like way past the city, like 4 hours up past Albany. I'm not sure where you are, like what part of the country. Are you even in this country? I know sometimes I don't realize people are not in the country. But yeah, if you do know anyone in upstate New York who has like a need for a cat that's like this and is cute, and show them this show, because maybe they could come get him. As long as they're, you know, good people and willing to take care of him. I don't know if Emma's coming on. I don't see her. Oh, you're not far from Albany? Oh, yeah, Mr. Kitty's about 45 minutes north of Albany. That's where he is, Mr. K. Mr. So if you are like, if you do decide that you're really interested, let me know. I mean, you can email me and we can talk about it, and with an E at intuitivetouchanimalcare.com, and we can certainly discuss if you're interested. Hashtag get Mr. Kitty a home. I don't know where Emma is. I know she wanted me to talk to her kitty, but I don't know. I put the link. Yes, close to Lake George. Very close. That's where I'm from originally. So that's where Mr. is. And the black cat, of course, too. So if anybody has any questions, I don't want to like disconnect, because I think Emma wanted to come on, but I don't see her there. So oh, no, many years apart. Oh, when you got them. But yes, Emma, I can talk to your pets. Just, did you see the link I sent? You just have to click on that. And then if you point your phone at your cats, I can talk to them. Or if for some reason you can't do that right now, you can certainly also... I can still talk to them. I just need to know their information and like their names and ages is all. And I don't know if you're there, but I will also be here next week. This is Furry Thursdays, so we're here every week doing this, and I think next week we're actually going to have another rescue on, but he's more of like, she is an actual rescue with where I got my German Shepherd, with the German Shepherd Rescue of New Jersey, if she hasn't been adopted out yet. But her name is Piper, and she's adorable. She's a beautiful German Shepherd, so she's going to be here. But I'm also going to be able to, I mean, she's going to be like this on the show, not in person with me here, but she'll be, we'll be showing her picture and talking about her, and, but I will also be available to talk with other people's animals too. So thank you so much. You know, if you do, you know, possibly know of rescues, if you're not far, that would be great. He's definitely a little bit of a project, but it can't hurt, you know. All right. Well, I don't know what happened to, I don't know what's going on with Emma, if she can't hear me or what's happening, but I don't know, maybe next week we can touch base, and, you know, let me know if you don't want to point the camera at your animal, just send me a picture ahead of time. I really appreciate everyone being here, and if you need any help with your pet, with animal communication, I can do distance classes and individual communication. I do both. And, you know, more locally, I do, of course, acupressure and massage for animals. I'm certified nationally in that. So I am happy to help, and thank you so much, and have a wonderful, yes, my email is down below in the description. It's Ann with an E at intuitivetouchanimalcare.com. So thank you everybody so much for being here, and thank you for all of your suggestions, and you know, have a wonderful night and week, and much love to you and your pets at home. God bless.